Hey friends, we're back in the studio kitchen here at Giani today, and I'm going to show you the application process for our Giani Granite Countertop Paint Kits. As you can see, I'm going to be showing you the white diamond finish today with our epoxy top coat. If you're ready to transform the entire look and feel of the most important space of your home, grab a kit and let's get to it. Everything you need to create your new granite countertops is right in the kit. You will also want to have these household items within reach. Now you can expect this project to take you a full weekend, but if you have any questions, we're definitely here to help. We have an entire customer support team that can be reached via email, by phone, or by chat. Before starting your application, make sure you take the time to watch this entire video and read through your detailed written instructions. The two go hand in hand. To begin your prep, no sanding is required for a typical Formica or laminate countertop. Just a thorough cleaning with an SOS or Brillo pad to remove any dirt and grease. Make sure to rinse and remove the cleaner with water, because any remaining residue may keep the paint from adhering. Using a high quality painter's tape like frog tape, protect surfaces around your workspace from accidental contact with the kit materials. Tape off 2 rows above your backsplash, 1 row around your cooktop, and 1 row around your sink. Be sure to protect the backside of your faucet as well. You will also want to place a single row of tape along the top of your cabinets. After stirring your iron core primer, pour about half of the can's contents into your painter's tray. If you have a connected backsplash, start here. Working in 2-foot sections, first edge in around the top and bottom with a 2-inch foam brush. Continue along the creases and corners, and then use your roller to fill in the rest. For the best coverage, edge in 2 or 3 foot sections at a time, and then immediately roll that section so that your brush strokes blend in with the rolled areas. Roll in the direction that is easiest for you. You may have to change the direction to get the shortest arm's length. Just try to blend the sections while they are still wet so that they'll dry evenly. For large areas like an island, you may want to stand on a step stool to extend your reach. Your application may appear streaky or uneven, but the appearance will become uniform as it dries. Wait a full 8 hours for the iron core primer to dry before moving on to the next step. After thoroughly stirring your mineral colors, pour a small amount of each on separate paper plates. Start by cutting the provided sponge in half, then cut each half piece in half once more. This will give you a piece of sponge for each mineral color and leave you with one extra that can be cut into smaller pieces for the area where your counters and backsplash meet. Remove any loose pieces of sponge to ensure that they don't fall off while applying the mineral colors. Now that you've completed your prep work and the primer is dry, use your kit's included practice board to try out the sponging process before moving on to your counters. Dab a piece of sponge into Mineral A to completely cover the textured side. Sponge the excess paint onto a clean paper plate before starting on your countertops to avoid a blotchy look. Working in 2-foot sections, lightly dab Mineral A onto your countertops. Let some of the black primer show through, but make your dabs overlap. When applying the mineral colors, lightly touch the sponge to the countertop rather than pushing it down. And keep in mind, to make your application look natural, dab the minerals on randomly and avoid working in rows or patterns. When you start on your backsplash, use the same sponge to cover as much of it as you can. Don't worry about the hard to reach creases yet. They will be touched up in a later step. Next, while the paint from Mineral A is still wet and with a new sponge, repeat the sponging process on the same 2-foot section with Mineral B. Repeat the same process with a new sponge and Mineral C. Cut the remaining sponge into smaller pieces and stick them on the end of a pencil for hard to reach areas like the crease and the top of the backsplash. Layer the minerals just as you did on the rest of your countertop until the application starts to blend. For more control when blending the hard to reach areas, use a small artist brush to fine-tune the finish look. If you're applying the white diamond kit and want a brighter look, just add another layer of Mineral C. Continuing to work in 2-foot sections, finish applying the mineral colors using your sponging techniques. When joining 2 sections, blend them together by slightly overlapping the mineral layers, sponging each color until there is no visible seam. After your countertops have completely dried, you are now ready to apply the Ultra Epoxy Resin Topcoat. Use the included tarps to protect your cabinets, appliances, and floor. Use small pieces of tape to hold the tarps in place and run long strips of tape along the underside of the countertop. This will protect against kit materials that, when hardened, could leave a rough edge. Trim pieces from one of the provided tarps to use as covers for your sink, faucet, and any appliances above your countertops. Each kit comes with 3 sets of Ultra Epoxy resin. Each set is made up of 2 parts, a liquid activator and a liquid resin. Each set will cover a 6-foot long section of countertop. To mix your first set, pour an entire can of activator into a can of resin, making sure to empty all of the contents. Next, vigorously stir the mixture for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. You want to mix quickly, but keep from splashing any of the contents out of the container. When finished stirring, immediately pour the entire mixture onto the first section of your countertops. It helps to pour the mixture in 3 streams to make sure you'll have even coverage. Start by pouring 1 stream at the base of your backsplash, 1 in the center of your countertops, and 1 close to the edge. If you have an object within your 6-foot section, such as a sink, simply use the proportionate amount for one side of the sink and continue on the opposite side of the sink until the entire mixture has been used. Within the same section, use an included 2-inch angle brush and transfer some of the epoxy mixture to your attached backsplash, gently coating it as you brush along the 6-foot section. Continue cutting in the edges of your section with some of the remaining mixture on your countertops. You only have to worry about coating the front and the side edges really well, as you'll use the roller to make sure the rest of the surface is covered. Next, use the foam roller to evenly distribute the epoxy over the surface of your section. Since the epoxy is self-leveling, try not to overwork your application. It helps to hold the handle gently between your fingers and thumb and lightly roll the epoxy over your countertops. This will keep you from gripping the handle too tightly and applying too much pressure to the roller. Too much pressure can spread the mixture too thin and cause defects in the cured finish. To make sure they're fully coated, lightly roll the front edges of your counters. After you've covered your first section, mix a second set of epoxy and continue on to the next section, blending the two sections together to avoid creating a seam. Continue the same process until your entire countertop is coated. Once you've rolled on your top coat, do not add more unless you find bare spots. Doing so can create unwanted blemishes in your finish. If your remaining section of countertop is less than 6 feet, use the appropriate amount of epoxy to cover the area. For instance, if your final section is 3 feet, mix up the last full set of epoxy and only use half. To fix a small bare spot, use a 2-inch brush to drizzle a little epoxy onto the spot and dab lightly. For dust or debris that has fallen into the wet epoxy, use tweezers to gently remove the object. Slowly and carefully remove the painter's tape between 1 and 2 hours after applying the epoxy. If you peel it off too early, the finish will run onto the taped areas, and if you peel it off too late, the tape will become cemented to your countertops. Use an acrylic caulk to put the finishing touch on the backsplash and around the sink. During those first 2 days, refrain from setting anything heavy on your countertops. Heavy objects can leave impressions in the epoxy. When caring for your new countertops, clean using mild soap and water or a specially formulated Giani Countertop cleaner. Harsh chemicals can dull or damage the finish. Just like you would with any countertop, always use a cutting surface when preparing food and a hot pad or protective barrier when placing hot objects on your countertops. Treating your countertops with the proper care will help maintain the shine, durability, and beauty. We know you're going to love your new Giani Granite countertops. Don't forget to follow us on social media and check out our website for additional resources. Thanks for watching.